All right, let's dive in. Today we're going to unpack this whole TikTok influencer marketing thing using the podcast script that you sent as our guide, basically. So get this. TikTok, over 1 billion active users.
Yeah.
It's wild. That's a huge potential market, and it's not just for Gen Z anymore.
That's true. Millennials and older demographics are joining TikTok.
Really?
Which makes it, really diverse platform with massive potential.
Wow, okay. 1 billion users, that's mind-blowing. But what makes these TikTok influencers so effective? I mean, we see them everywhere, but why?
Well, it's all about authenticity. TikTok allows for a different type of connection between the influencers and their followers.
Okay.
And their content feels more organic, more relatable, almost like a friend recommending a product.
Right. It's not a commercial. It's more like someone you trust sharing something they love.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
But do we have proof this actually works?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Influencity, a platform that specializes in influencer marketing, they found that brands using these TikTok influencers see significantly higher engagement and conversion rates compared to traditional advertising methods.
Wow, so they're literally turning views into customers.
They are, yeah.
That's impressive. So you're telling me finding the right influencer is essential.
Absolutely.
So I'm guessing not all influencers are created equal, right?
No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
The key is to find an influencer whose audience aligns with the target demographic you're trying to reach.
Okay.
It's about finding the perfect fit.
Gotcha. So it's more than just finding someone with a huge following. You need to make sure they actually reach the right people.
Exactly.
That's a great point. But how do you even find these perfect fit influencers?
Well, sometimes working with micro-influencers can be really effective.
Yeah.
They might have a smaller following, but their audience is often highly engaged and trusts their recommendations, implicitly. And plus, working with them can be more budget-friendly, too.
Okay, so maybe going with a smaller influencer with a super dedicated audience, that's better than just someone with millions of followers that might not care about your product.
It could be, yeah.
That's a really interesting concept to consider.
Yeah.
But is finding the right influencer a matter of just endlessly scrolling through TikTok? How can you be strategic about it?
Thankfully, there are much better ways to find the right influencer for you.
Okay.
You could use platforms like, Influencity.
Right.
They use data to pinpoint influencers that match your specific goals and target audience.
Wow.
They look at demographics, interests, engagement rates, and even brand alignment to help you make informed decisions.
So it's not just a guessing game. You can actually be really data-driven about this whole process.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, so let's say we found the perfect influencer.
Right.
What about the content itself? What makes a TikTok campaign really stand out? What grabs people's attention?
Well, this is where TikTok's unique style comes in. Okay. Forget the super polished corporate ads.
Yeah.
TikTok is all about authenticity, entertainment, and creativity.
So it's less about being a big brand and more about being relatable and fun.
Exactly. It's about capturing attention and sparking genuine interest.
Yeah.
You want people to watch, engage, and eventually become customers.
Okay, I'm starting to see the bigger picture here.
Yeah.
But can you give me a specific example? What does a winning TikTok campaign look like in real life?
Absolutely. So imagine a fitness brand working with a popular fitness influencer. They could create a fun workout challenge set to a trending song and encourage users to participate using a branded hashtag.
Okay, yeah, I can see it now.
Right.
Everyone doing the same funny dance move while getting their workout in. It's exercise, it's entertainment, and it's perfect for TikTok.
And the best part is, people start sharing their own videos doing the challenge, using the hashtag, and promoting the brand without even realizing it.
So it's like free advertising that feels authentic and fun, not pushy or salesy.
Exactly.
That's brilliant. It's like you're sparking a movement and building a community around your brand.
Yeah.
It sounds like you really have to understand TikTok to make this work.
You absolutely do, yeah.
You need to keep up with all the trends.
You do.
New sounds, hashtags, challenges, they pop up all the time.
All the time. Wow.
And brands need to be ready to jump on them while they're hot.
Oh, they're hot, yeah. A well-timed trend can make a campaign go viral and reach a massive audience.
It's like catching a wave at just the right moment.
Exactly.
It's exciting, but it also sounds like a lot to keep up with.
It can be, yeah, but the rewards can be huge.
Okay.
A successful TikTok campaign can take your brand to a whole new level.
So you're telling me I can't just set it and forget it? To really win on TikTok, you need to constantly be innovating and finding new ways to engage your audience?
Yeah.
I'm starting to understand the power of this platform, but what about the ethical side of all this?
Right.
We're talking about influencers promoting brands. Like, how do we make sure it's done responsibly?
You've hit on a really important point.
Yeah.
While TikTok influencer marketing can be incredibly effective, we need to think carefully about transparency and authenticity.
Right.
How can brands be sure their influencer partnerships are genuine?
Yeah.
And how can they make sure they're being responsible with this powerful marketing tool?
Those are definitely big questions.
Yeah.
We'll need to take a deeper dive into the ethical considerations of all this.
Yeah.
But first, let's take a quick break.
Okay.
We'll be back in a flash to unpack even more about this whole strategic side of TikTok influencer marketing.
Sounds good.
We're back and ready to jump right back into this whole TikTok influencer marketing thing.
Okay.
Before the break, we were sort of starting to talk about the ethical considerations of these partnerships.
Yeah.
Let's dig into that a little bit more.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Transparency and authenticity are crucial, especially in a world where, so much online content feels, curated and filtered.
Yeah, it feels like there's a fine line between genuine enthusiasm and just reading a script,
Right.
How do brands and these influencers navigate that?
It all starts with, finding the right partnerships.
Okay.
Brands should seek out influencers who genuinely align with their values and believe in their products or services.
Okay.
It shouldn't feel forced or fake.
No. So it has to be more than a business transaction.
Right.
You're saying there needs to be a real connection between the brand, the influencer, and ultimately the audience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Consumers are smart.
Yeah.
They can spot a disingenuous partnership a mile away.
Totally.
And if an influencer is promoting something they don't actually use or believe in,
right,
it shows.
Yeah.
And that can actually really damage the credibility of both the influencer and the brand.
Yeah, for sure. So how do brands avoid that pitfall? How can they make sure an influencer is the right fit?
Well, it's about doing your research.
Yeah.
Look at an influencer's past content.
Yeah.
See what kinds of brands they've worked with before and get a feel for their personality and values. Mm-hmm. It's also important to have, open communication with the influencer.
Right.
And make sure they understand your brand and what you stand for.
So it sounds like building a real relationship is key.
It is.
You can't just throw money at an influencer and expect a genuine endorsement.
Right.
Okay.
You're absolutely right. Trust is paramount, both between the brand and the influencer and between the influencer and their audience.
Yeah. And speaking of trust.
Yeah.
How do we make sure these partnerships are transparent?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Clear disclosures are essential. Viewers need to know that they're watching a paid partnership.
Right. It can't feel like some sneaky hidden ad.
Exactly. Yeah. Honestly, being upfront about these partnerships actually strengthens an influencer's credibility with their audience.
Really?
It shows they're not trying to pull a fast one.
Okay, so they're being honest and authentic.
Yes.
And that resonates with viewers more than just trying to hide the fact that it's a paid promotion.
Exactly.
Okay. I can see how that builds trust.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about building these strong partnerships, being transparent.
Right.
But how do brands stay relevant in this fast-paced world of TikTok?
Right.
We were talking about trends earlier, and those seem crucial to keeping a campaign fresh and current.
You're absolutely right. TikTok is all about being in the moment, riding the wave of what's popular.
It's like you're surfing.
Yeah.
You have to be quick and adapt to the changing tides.
That's a great analogy.
Okay.
A trend can appear out of nowhere, explode in popularity, and then vanish just as quickly.
Right.
Brands need to be able to react and create content that feels relevant to what's happening on the platform at that very moment.
Yeah, so spontaneity and agility are key.
Definitely.
Forget planning months in advance. You have to be ready to pivot and create something new on a dime.
Exactly. It requires a different kind of approach, a shift from those traditional marketing strategies that focus on long-term planning.
Yeah, it sounds exciting, but it also sounds like a lot of pressure.
It is, yeah.
How do brands even keep up with all these ever-changing trends? It seems impossible.
Well, there are definitely tools and platforms that can help track trends, but it also requires a deep understanding of TikTok and its culture.
Okay, so it's more than just looking at data.
Yeah.
It's about truly immersing yourself in the world of TikTok.
Yeah.
Understanding its nuances, its humor.
Yes.
Its language.
You got it. You need to be able to speak the language of TikTok if you want to create content that resonates with its users.
Yeah, it's like you're learning a new way to communicate.
Yeah, and just like any language, it takes time, practice, and a willingness to learn.
Okay, so we've covered authenticity, transparency, and staying on top of trends.
Right.
But what are some concrete strategies that brands can use to make their TikTok influencer campaigns successful? What are the actionable takeaways here?
That's a great question, and one we could definitely delve into. But before we get too tactical, why don't we move on to the next section? We can get into more of those specific strategies there.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so let's get tactical. Before, we were talking about how brands can make these TikTok influencer campaigns successful.
Right.
I'm ready for some actionable insights.
Okay, sure.
Where do we even begin?
Well, it all starts with understanding your goals. Before you even think about reaching out to influencers, you need to define what you're hoping to achieve with the campaign.
Okay.
Are you aiming for brand awareness, driving traffic to your website, boosting sales, or maybe something more niche like launching a new product or promoting an event?
So you're saying we need to know exactly what we want to accomplish before we even start thinking about these influencers.
Absolutely. Once you've nailed down your goals, then you can start thinking about which type of influencer can best help you reach them.
Okay.
And remember, it's not always about the biggest follower count.
Right.
Sometimes a micro-influencer with a highly engaged niche audience can be much more effective, especially if their followers align perfectly with your target market.
Okay, so how do you know if a micro-influencer is the right choice?
Well, think about it this way. If you're selling skateboarding gear, partnering with a skateboarding influencer who has 50,000 passionate followers might be way more beneficial than working with a general lifestyle influencer who has millions of followers, but only a small fraction of them are actually interested in skateboarding.
So it's about quality over quantity. You want to reach the right people, not just the most people. Okay, I get it. But finding the right influencer is only part of the equation, right? What about the content itself? How do you make sure it resonates with this TikTok audience?
Well, authentic collaboration is key. The best TikTok campaigns give influencers creative freedom to develop content that feels genuine and engaging.
Okay.
It should align with their personal brand and their style.
So it's about trust and partnership, not dictation.
Exactly.
You're letting the influencer be an extension of your brand, not just a puppet reading a script.
Exactly. When influencers feel valued and respected, their creativity shines through, and that's what resonates with their audience.
So you're tapping into their unique voice and letting them put their own spin on your message.
Right. Yeah.
It's about finding an influencer who really connects with your brand and letting them do what they do best.
Yes.
That makes a lot of sense.
Good.
But TikTok is such a fast-paced, trend-driven platform.
It is.
How do brands even make sure their content doesn't get lost in all the noise?
You have to embrace TikTok's playful energy.
Okay.
It's all about creativity, humor, and experimentation.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to try new things, jump on trends, and have fun with your campaigns.
So you're saying ditch the corporate stiffness, loosen up a bit, let your hair down.
Exactly. Think challenges, duets, creative sound effects, even a touch of self-deprecating humor.
Right.
The key is to create content that feels native to the platform.
Okay.
Not forced or out of place.
Yeah, if it feels too polished or corporate, it will stick out like a sore thumb.
Right. Yeah.
So it's all about speaking the language of TikTok.
Yes.
You have to understand the platform and its audience to create content that truly resonates.
That's exactly right. But remember, even the most creative campaign won't be successful if you don't track its performance.
Okay.
Data and analytics are crucial. You need to analyze the results and use those insights to refine your strategies.
So it's a constant process of learning and adapting.
It is, yeah. TikTok is always changing, so you need to be flexible and willing to adjust your approach as you go. What worked yesterday might not work today, and that's part of what makes this platform so exciting.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
Yeah.
We explored the power of authenticity, the importance of transparency, the art of trend spotting, and the strategic thinking behind, crafting a successful TikTok influencer campaign.
We have. We've only just scratched the surface.
Right.
But hopefully this has given you a solid foundation to start exploring this dynamic and exciting world of influencer marketing on TikTok.
It definitely has for me. I'm feeling inspired and ready to put some of these insights into action.
Great.
And to our listener, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you found it insightful and engaging.
Yes, thank you.
Until next time, happy TikToking.